What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk to you about Lucid. I want to go over some of the current data points, what shorts are up to, as well as the latest in EV stats. Before I get into any of that, make sure to hit that thumbs up, and with that, let's get right to it. So starting off, market opened roughly around 20 minutes ago, 2.94% in the red, 345 the low, 360 the high. As I said in my video yesterday, shorts, their plan is to really break Lucid on a technical level. And so looking right here, it is getting very close to that 50-day moving average, and we do generally know what happens when Lucid breaks below that. Currently, at the time of doing this video, shorts are increasing 1.95 million shares. 27.63% of the free float is being shorted. So definitely shorts have been doubling down the last now 5 consecutive trading days. So we'll just have to wait and see what causes them to let up, if anything. But I do want to go over one thing briefly while I'm actually on here. So in my video yesterday, I did talk on how kind of analyzing the shares available and entities buying, how it might be correlated. Someone said, how is that beneficial? How is that profitable? And in reality, if the underlying stock goes down, the lender, so for instance, if BlackRock is buying Lucid for the purposes of lending out shares, which they do, you can kind of even see just their website alone is all about security lending, like this, very profitable for them. So in reality, if the underlying stock goes down, then yes, the lender essentially is losing money too. This is why in times of very big sell-offs in the market, it's interesting because you do see a lot of shorts returning, and it's not because shorts actually do feel that maybe it's an overreaction. It is because of the individuals and entities that are lending shares out are recalling their shares. So that's a little bit more of a additional context. I did get one question just to kind of talk on this, and so yeah, so something to kind of additionally analyze behind the scenes. But definitely shorts are trying to bring it below that 50-day moving average. There was a piece of news that did come out this morning. So Lucid delivers UX 2.4 over-the-air software update with new advanced driver assist and convenience features. This kind of goes over the details a little bit clearer. So it does go over, or it includes lane change assist, 3D lane visualization, and curve control. So I think this is good stuff. This is no doubtably one of the many things that they're going to be talking on in their big event tomorrow, which I'm going to be live streaming under this channel. So make sure you guys are subscribed and all the other fun jazz. But clearly it is going to be more, especially based on the name, tech related, not probably gravity. So yeah, a little bit, it does suck, but I think in general this is good. This is more the precursor and foundation for autonomous driving in the future, so definitely something to keep in mind. Today there's no actual news or kind of large macro events, so it is relatively quiet. Same goes for tomorrow, so it is going to be more of a technical driven day, and this is why again shorts are trying to really suppress Lucid. There was some good stats that did come out. It's always delayed, so take that with a grain of salt, but for July 2024 it does show China sales were up 33%. And Europe, regrettably, was down 6%, and the States was down 1.2%. So where Lucid's kind of targeting, it looks like the demand is going down slightly, but still, this is relatively quiet. And based on what Peter did state, this is for seasonality purposes, relatively slower. So maybe this is what he meant by that. Just the States and Europe sales are down. So something just to kind of keep in mind. Again, it'd be really nice if Lucid was to kind of announce some aspect in China, because even though there's a lot of competition out there, like demand, you can't deny, you can't argue with stats, right? So if China sales are up 33% and Lucid has superior technology, then why the hell wouldn't they be able to really flourish in China? Or better yet, one smart move would be to have a kind of a licensing deal with a Chinese entity. That way you can get more bang for your buck, right? So again, that's something hopefully Lucid has working on behind the scenes or whatever else. We'll just have to wait and see. But as of right now, going over some data points, starting off with options. I'll kind of just refresh this. So within the first 30 minutes of the trading day, 70,000 in calls, 43,000 in puts, 65% of all the options being done are bearish. So clearly people are anticipating a little bit more downside. Of the call options that are being purchased today, you see a consensus for it to be be above roughly that $350 and $4. So clearly some individuals are hoping that there's going to be a catalyst unveiled tomorrow, or potentially at the Morgan Stanley conference that is on the 12th. Looking at the puts, you do see consensus for it to be below $3. And based on the Elliott wave technicals, as I mentioned, if it does break below that 50-day moving average, then yeah, you could see a kind of a retest of that $3 range. So just stay tuned for that. But options, no matter what, does not move the stock price. It is just merely a sentiment. So again, just to kind of distinguish between that, these are all the transactions so far occurring on the secondary market above $100,000. Still looks like only the one, so 698,000, but regrettably it was a sell based on the bid, the ask, and the selling price. You can tell it was a sell. These are some of the transactions occurring on the dark pool. So dark pool is always a little bit more active because it is linked to shorting. So something to keep in mind. Right now with it at $3.47, it is trading between this S1 and the pivot. So 313 will be the strong support, and then 375 will be that next strong resistance / target. In between, you do have the self kind of options resistance level at that 350, and then as well 330, that is that 50-day moving average. So you kind of have some things in between here, but generally these are some of the strong support and resistance points. I'm looking at the 1-day chart as well, so these are very strong ones on the side note. But looking on the actual chart itself, definitely watch for that 50-day moving average to hold. You see on stochastic a bearish deviation, but it is at 44. So if it does continue on the status quo and potentially trends below that 50-day moving average, then you could see more of a kind of it being oversold. So maybe if there's good news that does come out linked to the conference or the tech day that is tomorrow, you could see some maybe value investors getting in, possibly, and a number of retail investors have been getting out. So this is a quick summary of everything that is really affecting Lucid today. What is your thoughts on this latest news that did come out? Was there anything else that really stood out to you? I know wireless Apple CarPlay, that's kind of a good addition. I know every time someone sees Apple, usually there's some speculation. You see some chatter on social media saying Apple partnership. Yeah, I think that boat has sailed far past I don't think that's happening. In reality, it would be nice, and there's a lot of aspects that could be argued in favor of a Apple Lucid partnership, but I think at this stage it's fair to assume that it won't. So what's your guys' thought on this, and what is your thoughts on shorts just really continuing to mess around with Lucid? What is going to be that X factor that causes them to just take a step back and leave? Do you think it's just going to be physically ramping up, or is there going to be some other kind of deal maybe that causes them to leave? What's your thoughts? One final thing, take advantage of this promo. Simply sign up for a new account, throw $100 at it. They give you 5 free stocks. Each stock is valued up to $2,000. So this is a kick-ass deal. Link in the description below and also the comments. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.